Alright, so the last video I cut off at 5 minutes just to give you guys a little something to look at while I do these other videos. So as I was saying, you're going to want to be able to use what you have to as close to accurately as possible predict the outcome of the player, thus predicting the outcome of your lineup. As I said, I'm going to focus on cash game lineups, so I'm going to be focused on strategies and decisions made to build a cash game lineup so you can play in 50-50s or head-to-heads and try to make a profit. Obviously, any lineup you build, you always want to throw it in a small GPP just in case that lineup goes bananas. You can take down a nice pretty penny. So, in cash game lineups, you want safety. You want as close to guaranteed points as possible. So this is where studs benefit you because you can usually assume that they're going to get you a good set number of points. For example, LeBron James, you pretty much know that he's good for 50 fantasy points a game, pretty much in almost any situation. You know what I mean? That's like a good safe bet. Like you can safely assume LeBron's going to get you 50 to 55 points, no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? With the possibility, obviously, to get more. Westbrook, you know he's good for 50 to 55 points. This is why those types of guys are expensive, and this is why they're called studs. It's definitely beneficial to play them, but because it's a salary cap format, we obviously can't afford to just load our lineup with studs. You can't get a lineup with Westbrook, LeBron, James Harden, and DeMarcus Cousins because of salary cap. You know what I mean? This is where finding the proper value plays come into play, and this is why you may not always be able to get the studs in your lineup because you want to look at your lineup as a whole. You don't want to build your lineup around one person because you're going to end up ruining your lineup by trying to force someone in that doesn't need to be there. So, in a sense where I have a lot of injuries or, a lot of guys that are on the rise, guys that are getting uptick in minutes, things like that, that's where you look for value at. I'll backtrack and let you know that NBA DFS is 90%, about 75% opportunity, about 20% what they do with the opportunity, and about 5% game script. What I mean is that minutes are paramount in NBA DFS. In a similar fashion to ice time in hockey or snap count in NFL, minutes is king in NBA daily fantasy. If your player is not getting minutes, even if he performs excellently, he's not going to put up a lot of points because he's not on the floor. This is why typically you want guaranteed minutes more than anything else. Because if your guy's on the floor, he can get fantasy points. If he's on the bench, he's getting none, regardless of how good he is. You can have a guy with LeBron's talent, but if he plays Jamal Crawford minutes, then it's not worth it. So you want to use minutes as a good security blanket in making your cash game lineups, and that's why typically you want to target starters on teams. And if they're not a starter, you want to make sure they're like guy A or guy B off the bench, such as a Lou Williams or a Dwayne Wade. A type of player like that is nearly guaranteed to at least get his minutes in any situation. So, even though a guy is cheap, there may be reasons that he's cheap. He may be cheap because he's not guaranteed his minutes every night. And where the cheap guy salary-wise will allow you to pay for the studs, if that cheap guy gives you 6 minutes on the floor and basically puts up no fantasy points, he's going to sink your lineup. You cannot afford zeros in NBA DFS, especially in cash games. You just can't afford to do it. You have to get production from every position. I will make another video regarding what you can afford to tolerate from a cash game play and what you can't. But you can't just plug a guy in like, oh, he's minimum price If he gets 0, it's okay. You can do that in football. You might can do that in hockey. You can do it in baseball for sure. You cannot do it in NBA. Even your cheapest guys, he better be putting up some type of numbers for you, or your lineup is going to be finished. So just keep that in mind when you are forcing these cheap players in order to fit your studs in. Don't just fit them in there because he's minimum price. Because if he gets a 0, that stud isn't going to help you. In a minute, I'm going to dive into this Christmas slate for you guys, because this is the slate, that everyone wants to play. I mean, it's all of the marquee games and whatnot. I don't really have my computer in front of me, so I really can't show you examples. So I just want to talk to you guys and let you guys hear how things go and give you a good basis, so that when I do start getting into the nitty-gritty of the slate, some of the things I'm saying make sense. So that's why I explained what the 5x multiple is, explain to you what you're targeting and casting, things like that. If you're new to DFS completely, we can go back to the basics. Obviously, if the game's going to be out of control or if it's a possible blowout, that's going to reduce the safety in a player, especially the stud players. So you want to kind of use Vegas and the lines that they set as a loose barometer. You don't want to base your whole life on that. You use it as a loose barometer just to give you an idea of, hey, this game might get out of hand. You understand? Or just what you know about the team. I mean, you know the Cavs are the Cavs, and you know that the Suns are absolutely horrible. The Suns can get blown out on any given night. So you want to be careful playing those players or players against them, because if the game is a blowout, the coaches usually sit their starters. So if you have your starters in your lineup and your coach sits them all of the fourth quarter, you're losing out on 8, 9, or 10 minutes that they would be in the game. Thus, you're probably going to have less fantasy points than you should from that player. So that's why you want to be careful of games that could get out of control, that could have, the lead upwards of 15 or 20 going into the fourth quarter. You want to be careful of those games. Also, you can use Vegas the same way I guess you would use Vegas in baseball, with the over-unders, because that usually is indicative of the pace of play of teams and possibly the defensive or offensive prowess of a team. Typically Brooklyn games and Phoenix games, Lakers games, their totals are real high because they play fast, and especially in Phoenix and Brooklyn's case, they don't play defense. So take advantage of that and know that you're probably going to get more possessions, and the players that's going against these teams will probably get more opportunity to put up numbers because those teams are bad defensively. But also keep in mind that those teams are bad defensively, so they are privy to get blown out if possible, if that happens. So you want to be careful. You want to be able to balance all of that information when you're using that as a guide. You don't want to use Vegas as the end-all be-all. Absolutely not. But use it to help you, use it to guide you, use it to give you a little bit more insight of how the game may go or what might happen in that game. When you're building a cash lineup, you want to look down your lineup at every guy and say to yourself, this guy won't give me a dud. A dud, I consider 3x or less of your multiple. So if your guy is $10,000 and he gets 30 or less, that's a dud. You understand what I'm saying? To me, your cash game with players should be able to get you anywhere between 4x and 6x. Like, they should get you 3.5 to 4x on a bad night. Like, that should be the absolute lowest that they get you. And conversely, they should be able to get you an upside of at least 6x. Because obviously all of your players aren't going to hit 5x exactly. So you want to be able to make up for any guys that failed to meet their value by having other guys exceed their value. So hopefully your overall lineup makes the value that you want it to make. So that's what I say, that's what I mean when I say lineup construction is paramount, because you want to make sure your whole lineup is capable of getting the number you need to get, not just a particular player. So I'm going to leave it at that, let that sink in for a little bit, and I'll be trying to shoot out videos as often as I can, and just giving you insight and details and knowledge as I can. Later.